faint signal whispered across the void of space. The alien warship, black as shadow, drifted silently near the human colony's border. Its crew trusted their technology, the most advanced sensors in the galaxy. For hours, they scanned. For hours, they waited. But the results were always the same. No threat detected. Inside the command deck, the captain leaned back in his chair. His scaled skin caught the dim red light. "The humans hide behind weak machines," he muttered. "Our sensors show nothing. Their colony is unguarded." The officers around him relaxed. Some even laughed. In their records, humans were a young race, reckless but fragile. They had fast ships, yes, but no true power. To the captain's crew, they were only prey. Yet in the far corner of the system, hidden behind drifting asteroid shadows, something stirred. A single human ship. Its design was strange, part warship, part trap. 2 alien sensors, it looked dead, cold, lifeless. The humans had built it for one reason, to remain unseen until the moment came. On the alien deck, alarms suddenly flickered. "Captain, a heat spike." "Faint, almost nothing," one officer said. "But it came from the dark zone." The captain narrowed his eyes. "A drifting rock, nothing more. Ignore it." But in the shadows, the human ship's engines stayed. Quiet, its hull carried special plating, bending signals, masking energy. The crew inside sat motionless, every breath calm, every finger steady. They knew the aliens were watching, and they knew patience was their greatest weapon. Minutes stretched, then hours. The alien ship circled closer to the human colony, preparing to strike. Still, their sensors showed no threat. Nothing alive, nothing moving. But then, the human ship moved. Just a flicker. A shift so small it almost looked like a shadow turning. On the alien deck, the officer's hands trembled. "Captain," something moved. The captain hissed. "Impossible. The sensors show nothing." But it had moved, and in that moment, every alien heart froze. Because only now did they understand. The humans had been waiting. The humans had been watching. And the humans had chosen this moment to reveal themselves. The ship came alive with silent power. Weapons, hidden in its black hole, unfolded like claws. Its engines burned with sudden fury, throwing sparks of light into the darkness. The alien captain rose from his chair. For the first time in years, fear gripped his chest. Ready shields, full defense. But it was already too late. The human ship had locked onto them long before. Their silence had been a weapon sharper than any blade. The first strike lit the void like a newborn star. The aliens had trusted their sensors. They had trusted their machines. But they had forgotten one thing. Humans were never predictable. And when they finally moved, they moved to kill. The alien warship glided through the silent, dark, its black hull blending with the endless stars. Inside the command deck, the crew trusted their scanners. The machines pulsed with steady light, sweeping the void again and again. No signals of danger, no threat, nothing but drifting asteroids and faint radio whispers. The captain, tall and cold-eyed, leaned back in his chair. "Humans," he muttered with disdain. "They act bold, but their strength is weak. Our sensors see everything. If there was a ship here, it would already be dead." The officers laughed, sharp teeth flashing. In the dim glow, in their records, humans were reckless, untested, still climbing the first steps of war among the stars. To them, this colony was prey, nothing more. But in the shadows, near a cluster of broken rocks, a human ship waited. It had been waiting for days, buried in silence. Its hull was wrapped in plating that tricked alien scanners, reflecting nothing, hiding everything. To the machines, it looked like a dead object, a forgotten husk. But inside, its crew sat still, eyes focused, hearts steady. They had trained for this moment. Humans did not trust only machines. They trusted patience. They trusted instinct. Hours passed. The alien warship drifted closer to the colony, preparing its weapons. Still, their sensors read only silence. Captain, one officer said finally. There is a faint heat spike. Too weak for a ship, but it came from the shadow zone. The captain's eyes narrowed. Asteroid debris, ignore it. The officer hesitated. It moved, Captain. Not much, but it moved. The captain slammed his clawed hand against the console. Our scanners do not lie. There is nothing there. But there was. The human ship shifted, just slightly. A shadow turning. A whisper in the dark. Inside the hidden ship, the human commander whispered to his crew. His voice was calm, measured. They don't see us. Not yet. Hold position. The crew's hands hovered over controls, waiting. They had spent weeks buried in silence, knowing this was their only chance. The aliens believed in machines. Humans believed in timing. Minutes stretched into heavy silence. Then, at last, the human ship moved fully. Its black hull came alive. Panels opened like claws unfolding. Cannons extended from hidden compartments. Engines lit with sudden fire, glowing like the birth of a star. On the alien deck, alarms screamed. The officer shouted, "Captain! Ship!" Right behind the rock Sit was there the whole time. The captain froze, shock in his eyes. No, the scanner showed nothing. Nothing. But denial could not stop the truth. The human ship was awake. The first blast tore through the void. A beam of fire struck the alien warship's flank, cutting armor like paper. The deck shook. Sparks rained down. Officers screamed, shields up, turn fire. The captain roared, but the human ship had already locked onto them long before. Its silence had been its weapon. Every cannon, every missile, every railgun already aimed, already waiting. The second strike followed. Then the third. Each hit landed with precision, each one crippling the alien warship before it could react. Inside the human vessel, the crew moved like a single machine, calm, focused, every action rehearsed. The commander's voice was low, steady. Target. Engines. Disable escape. The ship obeyed. Missiles streaked through the black, slamming into the alien vessel's thrusters. Fire erupted. Metal twisted. The warship spun helplessly, broken. The alien captain gripped his chair, his voice trembling now. How? How did they hide? How could we not see them? No answer came. Only the sound of his ship breaking apart. The humans had waited until the perfect moment. They had let the aliens draw close, let arrogance blind them. The machines had seen nothing because humans had built a ship to fool them. And now, when the humans finally moved, they moved to kill. The final barrage came. Without mercy, railguns shredded the warship's hull. Explosions bloomed like dying stars. The alien crew screamed as fire consumed their decks. The captain's last thought was not of victory, not of conquest, but of fear. Fear of a race he had once called prey. Fear of humans, who had turned silence into a weapon. In the end, the warship was nothing but wreckage, scattered across the void. Inside the human ship, the commander gave a single nod. Target destroyed. Colony safe for now. The crew did not cheer. They knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would learn what their enemies had just discovered. Humans were not weak. Humans were not blind, and when they finally moved, nothing could stand in their way. The wreckage of the alien warship drifted in silence. Shattered metal spun slowly, flames flickering before the void swallowed them. To most, it looked like the battle was over. But inside the human ship, the crew knew better. The commander stood, still, eyes fixed on the screen. His voice was calm but sharp. Do not celebrate. One ship does not travel alone. The crew checked their scanners. For a long moment, only the drifting wreckage appeared. But then, faint signals blinked at the edge of the system. Dozens of them, the communications officer whispered. Sir, more ships. Many more. They were waiting beyond the colony's orbit. Crew stiffened. The aliens had not sent one warship. They had sent a fleet. The commander's jaw tightened. He gave no order to flee. Instead, he said quietly, "They will think we are afraid. Let them think it." Outside, the human ship powered. Down again. Its engines dimmed, its weapons folded back. Once more it looked lifeless, a drifting wreck in the shadows. The humans sank into silence, hiding in plain sight. Minutes passed. Then the fleet arrived. Alien cruisers, sharp like blades, slid into the system. Their hulls glowed with cruel light. At their center, a massive flagship pulsed with energy, its core strong enough to burn a planet from the flagship's bridge. The alien admiral studied the wreck of his fallen warship, his scaled face twisted with rage, destroyed by humans. He spat. "Impossible. They have no power to do this." His officers scrambled to explain. "The wreckage suggests precision strikes. They must have had help. Help." The admiral's eyes burned. "There are no other ships here. Humans do not fight like this. They are prey." Yet deep inside, doubt flickered in his mind. The fleet spread across the system. Scanners swept again and again. But once more, they found nothing. On the hidden human ship, silence held. Every crew member sat still, waiting, breathing slowly. They knew the fleet was stronger, far stronger. But they also knew strength alone was not victory. The commander whispered, "They outnumber us. They outgun us. So we fight our way, not theirs." He raised his hand. On his signal, a new set of weapons unfolded different from before. Mines, small and silent, slipped into the dark. They drifted among the asteroids like harmless stones. The fleet did not notice. Hours passed. Then, when the aliens moved closer, the traps awoke. The first mine detonated beneath a cruiser. A blast ripped through its hull, tearing it apart. The second mine followed, then the third. Suddenly, the fleet's perfect formation broke in chaos. On the alien flagship, alarms screamed. Officers shouted, "Explosions! Unknown weapons!" The admiral's eyes widened. Where are they? Where are the humans? But still, the scanners showed nothing. The humans did not reveal themselves. Not yet. They let fear do the work. Each explosion seemed to come from nowhere. Each ship lost felt like a phantom attack. In the shadows, the human crew moved with discipline. Every mine had been placed days earlier, planned for this very moment. Now they watched as the fleet tore itself apart, firing wildly into the void. "Wait," the commander said softly. His crew obeyed. The aliens, blinded by panic, fired at asteroids, at shadows, even at each other. More mines detonated, shaking, their fleet spreading terror. Only when confusion was complete did the commander finally speak. "Now strike." The human ship roared to life. Its cannons blazed, missiles launched, railguns thundered. A cruiser exploded in flames before its shields could even rise. Another was crippled in a single strike. The fleet turned, trying to fight back. But they were firing at a ghost. Inside the flagship, the admiral shouted in fury, "Find them. Find the humans." But no one could. Their machines betrayed them. Their scanners were blind, and then the human ship moved again. One moment it was silent, the next it was fury. It struck, then vanished back into shadow. The admiral realized the truth too late. His fleet was not hunting humans. It's the humans. We're hunting them. The battle raged across the system. Explosions flashed like dying stars. Ships burned, broke, vanished into wreckage. And through it all, the human vessel remained unseen, untouchable, patient and deadly. By the time silence returned, only a handful of alien ships remained. Crippled, broken, they fled into the void. The admiral sat in his burning flagship, horror filling his chest. He had thought humans were prey. Now he understood the truth. Humans were predators, silent, waiting, deadly, and when they finally moved, nothing could stop them. The battlefield was quiet now. Broken alien ships drifted in silence. their glowing wreckage scattering across the system. But on the human vessel, there was no celebration. The crew knew this was only the beginning. The commander stood at the center of the deck, his face unreadable. His voice cut through the silence. Transmit nothing. Not a word. If the aliens know how we fight, they will change their methods. Silence is our shield, the crew obeyed. The colony nearby waited for news, but no signal was sent. To the settlers, the humans who fought in the shadows had vanished into the dark. Meanwhile, beyond the system, the alien High Council gathered. Their chamber was vast, filled with leaders from across their empire. The surviving admiral stood. Before them, his body scarred, his voice trembling. They are not weak, he admitted. The humans fight in ways our scanners cannot see. They use silence, traps, timing. One ship destroyed my fleet, the council hissed in disbelief. Called him a coward. Others claimed he lied. But the wreckage reports could not be ignored. They must be contained, one counselor growled. If a single human ship can do this, imagine an entire fleet. Plans began to form. Armies were being prepared. But deep in their words, there was fear. For the first time, they faced an enemy that machines could not predict. Back in the shadow of the asteroids, the human commander met with his officers. A holomap of the galaxy glowed before them. Red marks spread across multiple systems, alien strongholds, supply chains, colonies. They will come for us, the commander said. Not with one fleet, with many. If we wait here, the colony will burn. We must strike first. The crew nodded. It was risky, but they knew waiting meant death. The ship moved again, silent and hidden, slipping into the void. For weeks they traveled unseen, avoiding patrols, sneaking through enemy lines. 2 alien scanners. They were still nothing more than cold rock drifting in space. Their first target was a supply station orbiting a barren moon. It was large, armored, guarded by destroyers. To attack it directly would be suicide. But the humans did not attack directly. Instead, they cut power to their engines, drifting close as if dead. The alien destroyers scanned them and dismissed them as debris. Slowly, carefully, the human ship approached the station. When the moment came, silence broke. Mines detached, floating toward the station. Explosions lit the void, ripping holes through its defenses. The destroyers scrambled, firing wildly. But the human ship was already in motion, weapons blazing. In minutes, the supply station was nothing but fire. The humans vanished again into the dark before reinforcements could arrive. Word spread quickly. More alien fleets reported sudden ambushes, invisible attacks, ships that appeared from nowhere and destroyed everything before disappearing. Panic grew. Some officers refused to patrol human space. Others whispered that the humans were not soldiers at all, but shadows, ghosts, predators that machines could not detect. On the council, arguments erupted. Some demanded full war. Others urged caution. But one thing was clear: fear of humans was spreading faster than truth. Meanwhile, inside the human vessel, the commander watched the stars. His crew was tired, but their eyes burned with quiet fire. They had no illusions of peace. They knew the aliens would return, stronger and angrier. The commander spoke softly, almost to himself. We are only one ship, but we are enough to remind. Them humans are not prey. The crew heard him, and silence filled the deck. Not fear, not doubt. Only silence, steady and calm. Because they all understood one truth. The galaxy had sensors, fleets, armies. But humans had patience. And when humans finally moved, the stars themselves trembled. The alien council could not ignore the reports any longer. Supply lines destroyed, patrols ambushed, outposts burned. The story was the same: no warning, no signals, no scanner detection. Just silence, then sudden destruction. Fear spread through the empire like a poison. Admirals argued. Generals shouted. Some demanded massive fleets. Others wanted new weapons. But the truth was plain. Their machines could not see the humans. One counselor slammed his fist on the table. We cannot fight ghosts. We need bait. We must lure them out. So they built a trap. A massive war convoy, filled with weapons and fuel, moved across space. But hidden inside the convoy were fleets, hundreds of ships waiting silently. To any predator, it looked like prey. To the humans, it was bait. Far away, the human ship watched. The commander studied the convoy with cold eyes. Too easy, he whispered. They want us to strike. His officers shifted nervously. The cargo ships looked vulnerable, but the humans had learned to trust instinct more than sight. They know we hide, the commander said. They think they can trick us, but they do not understand. We are hunters too. Instead of attacking, the human ship shadowed the convoy. Days passed. The aliens grew impatient, waiting for an ambush that never came. Inside the flagship of the hidden fleet, the alien admiral snarled, "Why don't they strike? Do they fear us?" But then, one of his officers gasped, "Admiral, the cargo ships, the supplies, they're missing." The admiral turned in shock. It was true. Bit by bit, the supplies were vanishing. Food, fuel, ammunition, all stolen in silence. The humans had never attacked the fleet at all. They had targeted the cargo itself, using stealth drones to cut and drag containers away. By the time the aliens realized, half their supplies were gone. The admiral roared with rage. Find them! Hunt them! But the humans had already slipped into the dark again, leaving the alien fleet stranded, hungry, humiliated. On the human ship, the crew worked in silence, loading stolen supplies. The commander gave a rare smile. They think like predators, but they do not understand patience. They wait for us to strike, but we have already won. News of the stolen convoy spread faster than fire. Across the empire, fear deepened. Soldiers whispered that humans did not just fight, they out-fought, outweighted, outmaneuvered. No machine could protect against silence. Back on the alien council, tempers broke. One counselor hissed, "If we do not crush them now, they will spread their fear across every world." Another spoke in a lower voice. "Perhaps we should not fight them at all." The room fell silent. To even suggest peace with humans was seen as weakness. But deep in their hearts, some leaders wondered if war with humans could ever be won. Meanwhile, the human ship drifted through the void, carrying stolen cargo. The crew sat in silence, knowing the war was only growing larger. The commander looked at the stars and spoke quietly. "They will come again, stronger. They will not stop. But we do not need to win every battle. We only need to remind them. We cannot be hunted." His words echoed through the ship. The crew did not cheer, did not speak. They only listened, because they all knew the truth. The aliens had fleets. The aliens had power, but humans had patience. And when humans finally moved, entire empires shook. The alien empire was breaking under fear. Convoys vanished. Fleets returned in ruins. Patrols reported shadows in the dark, then fell silent forever. Too many soldiers, the humans were no longer flesh and blood. They were phantoms. But the council refused to admit defeat. In their grand chamber, the highest voices roared. "If our machines cannot see them, then we will not use machines. We will use hunters. Flesh against flesh." So they gathered their best warriors, mercenaries, assassins, bounty killers from across the stars, not ships, but individuals, men and women who lived for the hunt. The Empire armed them with stealth craft and promised riches beyond measure. Their target was not the human colony, not the fleets, not even Earth itself. Their target was the human commander far away. On the silent warship, the commander studied a map of the galaxy. His officers reported stolen supplies had kept them alive, but barely. The crew was tired, restless. "We have hurt them," one officer said, "but they will come again. We are only one ship." The commander nodded slowly. His voice was quiet. "Then we must not fight like one ship. We must fight like 10. He did not know hunters were already coming. The first sign was a signal weak, broken, almost like noise. But it was not noise. It was a trap. The human ship drifted closer, cautious. Suddenly, silent drones appeared from the dark, fast and sharp. They carried no signals, no energy for scanners to catch. They fired blades instead of beams, tearing through the outer hull. Alarms rang. The crew scrambled. Boarders. Someone shouted. The humans had fought fleets, had fought armadas. But this was different. Now the fight was inside. Shadows slipped through the corridors, Elasian assassins with silent weapons. They moved like ghosts, cutting through steel doors, striking from the dark. For the first time, the human crew faced enemies they could not ambush with patience. The battle was face-to-face, close, brutal. In the engine bay, one assassin lunged with a curved blade. Human engineer blocked with a wrench, sparks flying. In the cargo hold, another assassin threw smoke, blinding sight. What the crew fought with desperate fury. The commander himself entered the fray, sidearm steady. He fired once. Twice 2 hunters fell. But more came. The aliens were skilled, fast, merciless. Yet they had made one mistake. They believed humans relied only on machines, like they did. But humans fought differently. Humans fought dirty. A hunter lunged at a crewman, expecting fear. Instead, the crewman smashed a pipe, releasing steam. The hunter choked, blinded, then fell under a knife. Another hunter tried to hide in shadows, only to be struck by a thrown tool. The humans turned every corner, every wall, every broken part of their ship into a weapon. The hunters came to kill one man. Instead, they met an entire crew that refused to die. Hours passed. Blood stained the corridors. Smoke filled the ship. One by one, the hunters fell. Finally, silence returned. The commander walked through the wreckage. His uniform was torn, his arm burned, but his eyes were steady. Around him, his crew stood battered but alive. He looked at the bodies of the assassins. "They thought they could end us with shadows," he said quietly. "But they forget we were born in shadows." The crew listened in silence. Some were bleeding, some trembling. But none had broken. Outside, the alien mercenary ships waited for a signal that never came. Hours passed. No beacon, no response. When they finally dared approach, they found only silence and wreckage drifting into the void. The human ship was still alive. News spread back to the Empire. The Council fell into chaos. Their greatest hunters, their most feared killers, had been destroyed. Soldiers whispered louder than before. The humans were unstoppable. They were death itself, and deep in the council chamber, one truth began to burn in every heart. The humans were not just winning battles. The humans were winning fear. The assassins were gone. Their bodies drifted into the void, silent trophies of failure. But the human crew did not rest. The ship's corridors smelled of smoke and blood. The hull was scarred. Systems flickered with damage. On the command deck, the officers waited as the commander studied the stars. His voice was low, heavy. "They will not stop. Every time we win, they will send more, stronger, smarter." One officer asked quietly, "Then what do we do?" The commander's eyes narrowed. "We stop waiting for them. We take the fight to their heart." The crew stared at him. The alien empire was vast, its core worlds shielded by fleets beyond. Number 2, strike there, was madness. Yet the commander's voice did not shake. "If we strike the edge, they repair. If we strike their fleets, they send more. But if we strike their core, their people will see. Fear will spread where no council can hide it for days." The ship prepared. Repairs were made with stolen parts. Weapons were reloaded with scavenged ammunition. The crew slept little, knowing this mission could be their last. Then they left the shadows of the colony systems and drifted into the Empire's throat. The closer they traveled, the more ships they saw. Convoys, patrols, guard stations. But the humans stayed unseen, slipping between scanners, pretending to be nothing more than cold debris. Finally, they reached Etha Empire's jewel, core world, its skies glittering with towers, its orbit ringed with stations, its surface alive. With billions of lights, the crew stared in silence. For many, it was the most dangerous sight they had ever seen. The commander's voice broke the silence. This is where they believe they are safe. This is where we remind them. The plan was brutal in its simplicity. No invasion, no landing, only fear. From the shadows, the human ship released its gift, hundreds of probes, each carrying a single message. They fell like stars, entering the planet's skies. Citizens looked up in wonder as the objects burned bright across the horizon, and then, everywhere, the same message played, not in alien language. In human voice, you called us prey. You trusted your machines, but your machines cannot see us. We are the silence you fear, or the shadow in your skies. We are human. When we move, nothing can save you. The message echoed across cities, across towers, across the very heart of the empire. Panic followed. Civilians fled to shelters. Soldiers scrambled, demanding answers. Fleets launched blindly into space, firing at shadows. The world trembled, not from bombs but from fear. On the council, fury erupted. They broke into our core world. One counselor shouted. They spoke above our very skies. Another whispered what none wanted to hear. If they can reach here, nowhere is safe. Meanwhile, the human ship slipped away again, unseen, untouched, but their strike had left a scar deeper than any weapon. It was not ships destroyed or soldiers killed. It was belief. The Empire's people had believed they were untouchable. Now they knew the truth. The crew gathered on the command deck. Their faces were tired, worn, but their eyes burned with a fierce light. One officer asked, "Will this end the war?" The commander shook his head slowly. "No, it will make the war greater. But now they will fight us with fear in their hearts. And fear is a weapon stronger than any cannon." The ship drifted back into silence, engines dimming. Once more they vanished into the dark, a ghost among the stars, and in the heart of the Empire, whispers spread, spreads that would not die. The humans were not hiding. The humans were not weak. The humans were everywhere, and when humans finally moved, entire worlds trembled. A deep silence fell across the command bridge of the alien fleet. The sensors, machines designed to predict every movement of every known enemy, still reported the same message: no threat detected. The officers trusted those readings. The enemy ship ahead was silent, unmoving, drifting like broken debris. For hours, nothing had changed. But their eyes betrayed their trust. They could see the faint glow in the hull of the human warship. Something alive pulsed inside it. Something the machines refused to admit existed. The admiral leaned forward, whispering almost to himself, "It should be dead. It should be empty." Yet his voice carried unease. Around him, his crew shifted. Nervously. For generations their kind had mastered war, predicting every foe. But this ship, this human vessel, it refused to behave as logic demanded. Then, without warning, the glow shifted. The warship's massive form stirred, like a predator awakening. Every alien on the bridge froze as a sound began to hum through the voidlow, steady, rising. Machines still said nothing. No threat, no life, no danger. But the crew felt it in their bones. The silence was about to end. Inside the warship, the humans had waited in stillness. It let the enemy believe they were broken, waiting for the perfect moment. Their captain opened his eyes, whispering words that echoed like steel in the chamber now. Engines that had slept roared back to life, their power so sudden it rattled the enemy sensors into chaos. Weapons hidden under damaged armor unfolded, glowing brighter than stars. In a single breath, the void became fire. Alien officers shouted, trying to understand, but their machines could not explain what they saw. The humans had moved on. The galaxy would never be the same. The first strike tore through the nearest ship, splitting it into two blazing pieces before alarms could even sound. The admiral shouted for counterattack, but it was too late. The predator had awakened, and now the hunt had begun. Every crew member realized the truth at that moment. The sensors had not failed. They had only faced something beyond their design. Something the galaxy itself had never truly prepared for. A human who waited in silence, who chose the perfect moment to strike, was not a threat by ordinary measure. He was something far worse. And as the warship cut into their fleet, one thought spread through every alien mind. If one human ship could do this, what would happen when the rest of them arrived?